you start interrupting them, going with a line of reasoning or debate that isn't even pertaining to what they're saying. And it's the same thing with semantics. What did George Orwell write about in 1984? How they'd reduced the language down, how they changed the meaning of words, how they'd written a new language where it was almost impossible to communicate with people. He was a propaganda writer in reality and in that fictitious book, so he was a higher level guild, so he was one of the last vestiges of people still able to think. And so his guild was the most oppressed and watched. And that's who you are in the media out there, you Republican and conservative hacks. But it's the spirit of truth that will drive a Geraldo Rivera, who in his heart wants to be part of the truth, doesn't want to be a sellout, to come out and say 9/11 could be an inside job. And undoubtedly, fur was flying behind the scenes. And then Napolitano, co-hosting for Beck, his own top-rated show on Fox Business, to say the whole thing's a lie on my show. There was stuff behind the scenes you wouldn't believe out of that. There was calls all over national media, including CNN, for his firing, MSNBC. But he couldn't lie at the point that it mattered, because he's not stupid. He has intense, deep knowledge, and so he understands the truth innately, and even if it hurts his career, he couldn't lie when asked the question. But we have to go past the point of not lying when we're put on the stand in front of the court of public opinion. He told the truth when he was in that witness seat on this show. That isn't enough. But that's more than 99% of people have got. You need, when you have the opportunity to be a witness, not just when you're asked. And when you take that on, I mean, you know, a lot of people, I understand why people that have not been fulfilled in life and who have not been successful in life can see somebody like me and they cannot imagine that I'm real. They cannot imagine that I'm pure. They cannot imagine that this is actually happening because they don't have faith in themselves. They don't have faith in mankind. They can't believe that somebody came up, lifted themselves up by their bootstraps out of the middle of Texas and is now reaching millions of new people a day, seriously damaging the globalist agenda. They can't believe that it could be real because they can't believe in themselves. And I'm telling you, believe in yourself. Believe in truth. Stand on it. Hold fast to it. The truth will set you free. And even if people can analyze Alex Jones, who's just another person like everybody else, and find my faults, at my core, I love liberty. I want justice. I want a free world where our children and grandchildren can enjoy these technologies and do things we can't even imagine. My heart's in the right place. But if your heart's in the right place and you can do it better and you've got better ideas, do it. Show us. Lead us by your example. That's all I ask. Because I know the direction we're going is a nightmare. There's no doubt about that. And so let us not make it about the personalities, about Alex Jones or about anybody else, because I don't want it to be about that. In a worldly sense, that is empowering for me. I don't want that worldly power. I don't want that ring of Mordor that corrupts, that cannot be used for good. I want you, the individual, to be empowered by my successful example, which, as scarred and stinking as it is the most successful thing in modern history. Next to the long 40-year road of Ron Paul. After that, it's the biggest thing there is. And it's not that big. Its power, and where it is big, is through you. You are the key. You are the secret. So don't let the enemy distract you or divert you. Take action, stand up, get involved today. And that's my testament on liberty. Let's talk to Sunfest in California. You're on the air.
But you have to be given a chance to tell the truth out of the nightmare, and I've worked on this all my life using only those facts, not over-informed, undereducated, but just those facts that compile a solution. Only fasting, and Christ fasted, Buddha fasted, and so on. Only fasting can stop the fire out of control and the adrenaline behind the predator economy, because that's all it is. Let me give you an example.
Now, ma'am, you called us just a few days ago, and you do call the office quite a bit, and I understand. Why don't you write an article for us so we can look over it? And I do think fasting is important to detoxify the body. I've never done it. I should do it. And to spend the time to refocus. I think all the time about leaving for a week or two and, getting a cabin somewhere by myself to fast and try to get myself, refocused, because this isn't such important work. And I think what you say is important, ma'am. But there's no need to call us 100 to 200 times a day here at the office. It's a full, seriously, we couldn't listen to all those messages even if we tried. And a lot of people email me and they say, why don't you screen your calls? We don't screen our calls. Because we have, people that get in, but then regular callers get in most of the time instead of the millions that are trying to get in. Like, I'm going to jam in a few final calls in the final segment straight ahead. But I did overdrive for an hour yesterday. I don't think I'm going to do that today because we've got a lot of work we got to get done. Boy, they're chemtrailing us heavily here in Austin, Texas. It's just incredible. The program's even admitted, but the public can't admit it to themselves. The globalists are so far down the line.
Is it really possible to get out of debt without payment plans or attorneys?
18 years ago, we developed a program that has made thousands debt-free in just 90 days. It's called Zero Debt in 90 Days, and it works for all credit card debt, medical bills, even collection lawsuits.
When I first joined, I was being sued. So I used the program methods, and after filing one piece of paper, the collection lawsuit was dismissed.
With Zero Debt in 90 days, your success is guaranteed in writing. There is no other program of its kind. Don't be alone when creditors gang up on you. Let our team of experts provide the resources to fight back and stop creditors in only 90 days, guaranteed. Prevent wage garnishments, bank levies, and stop collection calls with our proven program. Call Zero Debt in 90 days now, 800-477-9256, and ask for free information from an expert who also completed our program. 800-477-9256 or ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com. 800-477-9256 or ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
Have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
It's the winter cold and flu supplement sale at HerbalHealer.com. Take advantage of Herbal Healer Academy's incredible savings on the best cold and flu supplements available. Many of you know elderberry is exceptional against viral infections. Right now, Herbal Healer Academy has Elderberry Power, regularly priced at $16.95, now incredibly low at only $10 for 60 vegetarian caps. For children and seniors, our Herbal Healer Academy Flu Away Elderberry Liquid is only $13 for a 4-ounce bottle. Also on super sale, olive leaf capsules, oregano oil plus capsules, and our incredible Respirate formula, Oregacillin Physician Strength capsules for your lungs. Normally $34.95, now just $25. Hit the winter specials link at HerbalHealer.com for these cold and flu supplement specials and other on-sale products like apple cider vinegar, brain power, and neuro recovery. New customers get a free catalog with your first order. Log on and hit the winter specials now at HerbalHealer.com.
Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're here live, back Sundays 4 to 6 p.m. Ron Paul, big interview live tomorrow during the first hour. Be sure and join us for that. Then Paul Watson, and of course, we're going to have some other guests on as well, like Joel Skousen. Let's jam in some final calls here. Joe in Pennsylvania, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, longtime listener, supporter, and so on. 3 quick things I'd like to say, and I'll take comments off air. I believe that this whole China thing is scriptural because in Revelation 9, it specifically talks about a 200 million man army. Now that was written thousands of years ago, and China has a 200 million men surplus. That's my first point. Second thing, on the TSA, I live in Pennsylvania. I can walk in any gun store I want to with my ID, and in 10 minutes walk out with a rifle or a handgun. And the third thing was on the Chris Matthews issue. I was very upset about that. I called MSNBC and made my concerns known, and there's a number, if we can do like a phone bomb, maybe.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, they tell him to create racial enmity when he calls white people crackers and says if you don't like big government, you secretly burn crosses. I mean, that's his job. But yeah, we can give out the number for Slimeball if you want.
212-664-4444.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know what comments I can make. You just said it all right there. Jonathan in Kansas, you're on the air.
Yes, Alex, I just want to talk about a few things. Are you aware of the dioxin scare in Germany and how many farms were shut down, and you see a lot of people who are running towards organic food?
Yes, and here they just cover it up when you get dioxin and wonder why your kidneys fail at 30. But yeah, they've had to kill a bunch of the farm animals, pigs and others, because there's just so much toxic garbage in the food chain. Germany and other countries will hardly even let Chinese food additives in. They make the bulk additives over here. Over here, they don't even check them. China makes many of our prescription and over-the-counter drugs and exports their toxic waste here. It's totally insane.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to talk about some social engineering. And you said with, what's her name? You had her a few weeks ago. You was talking about how infiltration of conservative groups.
Charlotte Iserby, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how you talked about how public schooling was created in Prussia? Well, not only that, many other social welfare programs. For example, the first tested, Social Security was actually developed by the King of Prussia, and he said he thought it was a way to, counter, there used to be coal miners that had their own Social Security. People would put money into this pot, and people who ever get hurt would get use that money. But
yeah, they don't want you investing your own money. They want to make you invest it with them so they can steal it. No. I mean, if you go back to Prussia, which its main product was soldier slaves who were so mind controlled they would lovingly go off and fight and kill, including in the war against the British. And he bought some from his cousin, King George III did, some Prussians. Most of them did run off once they got here, though. And almost everything, the mind control, psychology, it all came out of Prussia. That's actually true.
Yeah, and also, I want to ask you a question. Is Daniel Bell, the guy who created the book Post-Industrial Society, is he a high-level globalist, like a mouthpiece? Because he talks about how social welfare programs he said heavy industry was going to leave the West. And
yeah, well, you've got the UN, you've got the head of the Goddard Space Center, you've got them all saying we're going to artificially get rid of industry, we're going to make you communalize farms under corporate control so you can never rebel. It's called domestication. Just like they breed animals to be subservient, they're artificially creating a society where you got a bunch of dumbed-down, childlike adults who are a bunch of people who submit to tyranny. I'll see you back live tomorrow. Retransmission starts now.
Are you tired of searching for great talk radio?
Something more important.
Don't forget that